The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998.
Coming up next is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday. We're going to go in-depth and look at WWE's usage of Brock Lesnar so far. We're also going to go to Ask the Booker, this week's question for David Hero, and the history book, looking back at SummerSlam 2002. Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday starts right now, right here online. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday. It's the midweek delight, if you will.
It's the happy hump day.
I don't understand.
You wouldn't.
How's your yoga coming along, David Hero?
You know what? It's been interesting. I feel far more refreshed. The blood is flowing.
Did you figure out how to get your leg?
Oh, I don't do that kind of stuff. But Dallas did. He once again, he couldn't emphasize this enough. He's like, bro, when you're done, make sure you give it to Damien so he can pull his head out of his. I forgot what that three-letter word was, but he just thinks he thinks you're too tense. He thinks you need to relax on the show more often and enjoy the gifts you've been given. Appreciate your abilities.
I'm still looking for those gifts. I mean, I did receive a prize in winning the draft last year, first place. Thank you, Heath Slater. Appreciate that. I do have the most hottest selling shirt in wrestling media, the Nelson family shirt. Which
I don't have
can be
any
purchased
shirt
right now at pwrshow.com.
I don't have a shirt to show because mine are all sold out.
You know, and that shenanigans clip on Wednesday night.
Friday night.
On Saturday
night, yeah.
I'm not too pleased. I found out how you made all that happen, by the way.
What do you mean? Billy Gunn just wasn't, he didn't want...
No.
Whoa, what?
I can respect the fact that Billy Gunn he misinterpreted his desire for the Nelson family shirt. But the fact that you got that on air, you know, that's a terminable offense. And wait till this Saturday.
I'm not
You want to talk about shenanigans?
Oh, this Saturday you got shenanigans? You got jokes all of a sudden?
I always got jokes, funny haha jokes. Let's go to this week's In-Depth, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to take a look at WWE's utilization.
So wait, that was segment one, right? Okay, just want to make sure.
Of Brock Lesnar so far. And I got to say, David Hero, Brock Lesnar coming back the night after WrestleMania in Miami, Florida. It was huge. It was epic. Going into Extreme Rules against John Cena. A great matchup, one where Brock Lesnar just destroyed John Cena. And then things started getting a little weird. Brock Lesnar's interaction with John Laurinaitis, the whole contract negotiation thing, him leaving. And then when he comes back to Raw on Raw 1000, it's almost like, as you said, he was reluctantly accepting a fight with a wrestler, Triple H, and Brock Lesnar is the fighter. It just seems weird.
It is weird because Brock Lesnar, for as much hoopla and ballyhoo that he came back
circumstance?
Yes, pompous and circumstances. Sounds like one of your events.
That's where Cactus Jack is from.
It's meant nothing. You know, they force-fed us John Cena and Brock Lesnar, and yes, it was a brutal match. But in the end, John Cena left the winner in Chicago. Yeah. And then Brock Lesnar quits and takes his balls and goes home. And then you bring Paul Heyman back in once in a while, and it's like, where's the show? You know,
what's the end game with Brock Lesnar?
Where's the heat in this feud? Yeah. Right now, there is none at all. Because if Brock Lesnar would have came back and beat John Cena, well, now there's a reason why Triple H should really be chasing, besides the fact that Brock broke his arm and Paul Heyman talks about his family.
Which everyone's forgotten about now.
Of course. And since that time, they've had two pull-aparts. The one where Brock Lesnar beat Triple H, and then on Raw 1000 when Brock Lesnar was the coward running up the ramp away from Triple H. Mm-hmm. So why would I now believe that Brock Lesnar can beat Triple H? There's no heat. There's no fire. There's no emotion in this right now.
Can we get there?
You can.
Got about 2 weeks till SummerSlam, I believe. Can we get there?
Unfortunately, the only way to get there is to involve Stephanie at this point. and Stephanie doesn't need to be involved.
It's a big enough match, I think, Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. But it just isn't there yet.
It's not. Here's why it's not there. And I honestly believe that if Brock Lesnar would have left Triple H laying at Raw 1000 with his wife laying over him, would have meant so much more.
Yeah.
Because then, wow, Triple H just got it handed to him. So, but then again, that means Triple H should win at SummerSlam, which, you know what? I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Triple H is booked to beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Triple H always beats the star. Going back as far as Eugene, The Rock, Stone Cold. He beat CM Punk last year when CM Punk was the hottest guy going in all of wrestling.
Yep.
Why wouldn't he now beat the baddest man on the planet in Brock Lesnar? So it's almost been mishandled the same way they mishandled it with WCW coming into the company.
That bad?
Yes.
Really?
Because they could have had Brock Lesnar rolling over people and then have the end game at WrestleMania in New York. And right now, Brock Lesnar lost to John Cena. And now he's been on and off TV to the point where the fans don't care. They're trying to make everybody care, but at the end of the day, they're more invested in AJ Lee than they are in Brock Lesnar.
Shouldn't everyone in that company be scared of Brock Lesnar?
Absolutely.
Nobody should be challenging him to a fight.
No, not at all. Not at all. And Brock Lesnar should not be coming out from the back. If he quit the company, why is he backstage?
Catering.
Right? Well, there's always good catering, but let Brock Lesnar come in from the audience or something like that. Or, you know what? Unless he's scheduled to wrestle, don't have him on at all. Because Brock Lesnar talking is not selling tickets.
Yeah. Well, we want to know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Follow us on Twitter, at PWR Show on Twitter, and let us know. Brock Lesnar, hit or miss thus far in WWE. Hit or miss. Use the hashtag hit or miss, along with PWR, at PWR Show on Twitter, and we'll follow that feedback over the course of today.
If Brock Lesnar gets past Triple H, then who's next?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Cena's already beat him. There's no reason for Cena to fight him again. Cena's going to be stuck with CM Punk for a little bit. Who's next? I mean, really, they haven't built up anybody else where it means anything.
Right. Well, that's this week's In Depth, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, it's time to go.
I don't want to take it. I want to just keep going.
You're not in charge of anything around here.
Well, then that's segment 2. Okay, go ahead.
We're back right after this with the History Book.
There's only one place to get the latest from pro wrestling, including the only place to get 100% verified wrestling news. Watch or listen to all of our latest TV and radio broadcasts on demand and get caught up on wrestling news between episodes. PWRshow.com is the cleanest, friendliest, and most fan-friendly source for wrestling news on the web.
You know how TNA says we're in segment 1, 2, and I'm just being that guy.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and it's time to go to this week's history book. And David Hero, this could be one of the, we talked about SummerSlam 1992 a couple of weeks ago, and talk about SummerSlam 2002 this week. What an event. There was a passing of the guard, if you will. We just got done talking about Brock Lesnar.
Was that in Miami, this one?
That was not. I believe it might have been Atlanta. So they didn't put that in my notes where it was.
It doesn't make a bit of difference.
But the main event was Brock Lesnar versus The Rock. The Rock was on his way out of WWE, very publicly known to do movies. Not a very good, not a very popular guy with the fans at that time because he sold out.
Of course.
And Brock Lesnar comes out.
Let me tell you something. If I'm making $30 million a year, I am more than happy to sell out.
That's how much it takes?
No, it takes far less than that. Let me just say, everyone that booed him 10 years ago, they love him more now. Yep. They're going to his movies and whatever else.
Brock Lesnar came down, dominated, And when he got that F5 on The Rock, pinned The Rock 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring and became the new WWE champion, a new era had dawned.
Heavyweight champion.
Absolutely. A new era had dawned, and then he would go from there into, I believe, was that right after that when he went into the series with The Undertaker?
Undertaker and or Big Show, I think it was,
just an interesting dynamic in that matchup because The Rock, as you said, he did on Raw 1000. On this night, he did the same thing. He came down, he laid down for The Rock. And it was so interesting. I remember that time because it was so irritating to me how disrespectful the fans were. Because The Rock had no reason to be there. He had come back about 6 months earlier, won the championship, and then lost it to Brock.
He came more to make Brock a bigger star.
And to help the WWE overall and do what needed to be done. But that wouldn't be the only matchup on that card that would have significance because it was a return of Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in a street fight.
He rocked
one of the best street fight type matchups I think any of us have ever had the opportunity to see. It would lead to, I believe, the Elimination Chamber match at SummerSlam. I could be wrong. But that's this night. And remember the sledgehammer?
Yeah.
Survivor Series?
Yes,
After the matchup, Triple H takes the sledgehammer to the back of Shawn Michaels. Just great matchup. Shawn Michaels, who hadn't been in WWE since WrestleMania 14, I believe. That was the last time he'd been seen in '98, and came back some 4 years later and delivered an epic performance in that matchup.
Who would have thought that 10 years later, these four guys are still relevant on the brand?
Right.
We just had Shawn Michaels Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
You know, Triple H is now
You
wrestling
still didn't
Brock.
appreciate him, though.
You know what?
There was cake and ice cream.
He had his retirement. He had his night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why are they still doing it? Why? Because it's ratings and they got to fill 3 hours. At the end of the day, Shawn Michaels was fantastic. Tremendous. Might just be one of the best of all time. Top three.
One of.
No. I don't think he's number one, because it's a whole. Wrestling's different and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I mean, and now it's Triple H and Brock, and Rock is involved still, and Shawn Michaels hasn't left. All four guys, 4 Money main event guys, are still there.
SummerSlam 2002, great event, and again, 2 very significant matchups that would really spell out the future of WWE for the next several years happening on that card. It's now time to go to Ask the Booker, where you submit a question to that one and ask about his booking philosophies and how he may do or have done things. And this time it comes from Dylan from out in Brooklyn, New York. Dylan's question, and I quote, "It's no secret that WrestleMania 27 was made with a lot of creative changes and the close to signing of the icon Sting. As bookers, if Sting versus The Undertaker was to occur at WrestleMania 27, how would the overall card of WrestleMania have changed, in your opinion?" Is the first part of the question. Second part of the question, how do you think The Undertaker's string of WrestleMania opponents for future matches on the grand stage would go? So Sting did say publicly that it was very close. It was going to be him. He was going to be 221-11. All that coming into WrestleMania, and that would not be the case. And the question that Dylan has is, how would that, if it were the case, have changed the overall card of WrestleMania?
I don't think it would have changed the placement of the show. I think that Taker still would have had the same spot.
Yeah.
Because
Triple H was the opponent.
Well, and let's face it, for WWE fans, Triple H is a bigger star than Sting. I think
not for the second year in a row.
I think internationally it makes a difference, but I think for the most part there's a lot of wrestling fans that are not familiar with TNA, that are too young to know WCW, that may not truly appreciate and know how great Sting once was and how big that match truly could have been. So I look at it like, yes, Sting would have been great for you and I, but for little Jimmy, probably not so much.
He's injured, you know.
I know, that was terrible.
He was getting beat up.
That was terrible. Terrible. So it would have stayed the same. Taker definitely would have beaten Sting. There's no way Sting comes in for one match and beats the biggest star on the biggest night.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wouldn't have changed. It would have had more pay-per-view buys, no question about that. But,
they were fine. The Miz was headlining in the main event.
But at the end of the day, I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but if you really think about it, At the end of the day, last year at WrestleMania, Triple H is a bigger star than Sting. I'm not saying for his career, but last year at WrestleMania, he would have been.
Should Sting have done it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, with all due respect to Sting and to TNA, would Sting rather have gone out getting tombstoned by The Undertaker or getting beaten down by aces and eights?
And that is the end. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday. We'll be back with you again with a brand new episode Saturday night on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. Thanks for tuning in.